Oh. All right. We are live. We're live, everybody. Welcome and hello. My name is Luke. I will be your teacher for this live class. This live English class that may not be live when you're watching it, but it is being recorded live. Today, we have a lot of interesting stuff planned. We're going to be learning a lot, some interesting vocabulary. We're going to be learning from an article, a news article, which I enjoy to do sometimes. And we're going to be going through, of course, some Q&As. So, well, yes. Some Q's. We'll be doing some A's to some Q's. So if you have questions about grammar or idioms, pronunciation, whatever it may be, put that in the chat. If you're watching this on playback and you missed it, shame on you. For shame. But it's all right, Kathy? It's okay? We're not taking any legal action against people who weren't watching live, right? Okay. But they should. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. So yes. Questions about whatever, welcome. Word differences, culture, grammar, idioms, phrases. Today we're going to be talking a bit about the royal family business. Queen Elizabeth has passed away. And so that's a perfect opportunity to bring up some interesting words and phrases, right? Some interesting language we can explore. Hip, hip, hooray to that. If you haven't already done so, I would sincerely appreciate you hitting the like button. Hitting that is a small action you can take to support the channel. It makes a big difference, to be very honest with you. It says to YouTube, hey, maybe other people should watch this. That's what the like button is there for, right? It's a way to signal to YouTube, show this to more people, right? So hit that, subscribe if you haven't done that already. And anything else? Oh, yeah. If you want to get a free course, the first link in the description should be that. So feel free to check out my free course. That is on natural English conversations. And there is a new course coming out later this month, which I'm very excited about. It's going to be about travel English. So that's exciting. I hope you're all having a good Friday and have interesting plans for the weekend. I don't know if I have any major plans, to be honest. We'll see how it goes. I often figure it out on the day, on the weekend. That's when I figure it out. All right. As I said, welcome friends and neighbors. To those who are joining on Wednesday who got kicked out, sorry about that. Karina's here. Hello. Thank you so much. So fancy. Yes, this is my new place of residence. This is where I live now. Maybe we can talk about that later. By some complete random series, not random, but complicated series of events, I have received an email that has said I believe Kathy received it. I don't remember. That essentially says that I was in the line of succession for the crown, and I will be the next king of England. I don't know exactly the details, but I will let you know. I will keep you all posted. Anyway, it's going to be a big life change for me, but I'm still planning to do the live streams and all of that. So, sorry to everyone who got passed over. I heard that it passed over about 7.6 billion people before it got to me. But, we can't all be lucky. So anyway, congratulations to me on that. We'll be talking a bit more about that today, how succession works and all of that stuff. But in the meantime, yes, if you have any English questions, we can get started with those. We can I have a couple videos to share with you. I'm gonna make sure that my AC is on because it is a little warm. So give me 1 second, please. There we go. What's your desired temperature of choice? I'm going with, no, you know what? I'll go with 69 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a pretty good temperature, right? I think that's a good temperature. What do you set your air conditioning to? I've heard that in hot weather there are some people who do not have air conditioning, and I think that is really tough. And I hope it's not as bad as it sounds. But what do you do if you don't have an air conditioning? I'm curious if anyone watching does not have an air conditioning unit. What do you do when it's very hot? How do you deal with that? I can't even deal with a little bit of heat, so quite curious about that. I'm Korean who wants to learn English. Well, welcome. That's what we're here for today. If you have questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I do have some stuff planned that we can go through, which I'm looking forward to. Good. It looks like we have some more and more people joining. Magical. Fantastic. In other news, I'm very excited to report, I just checked my email. It looks like my order for the new iPhone has just been processed. And that means it is on the way. And it's going to arrive on the 14th. Wow. So here in the United States, we have a very cool program. And I've heard that not all countries have it. I think the United States and Canada may be the only ones. Thanks, Mohammed. I appreciate that. So it's called the Apple Upgrade Program. And the Apple Upgrade Program allows you to, instead of having to keep a phone for a long time, it allows you to trade your phone in every year and get a new phone. And your monthly payments stay the same. So it kind of works out to the same thing. For example, if you buy a new iPhone for, let's say, $1,000 or however much the new one is, how much is the new iPhone? It's $1,099 for the Pro Max. Okay. $800 for the iPhone 14. Okay, so let's say you go in, you say, I want the new iPhone, I have to have it, I need it, I must have it. And so you just buy it. Okay, well, great, but that's fine. But here's the thing. When are you going to psychologically tell yourself, okay, I'm going to buy another one? You might want to get your value out of it. And so I think you'd be more likely to hold on to it for longer than a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3. But what happens when you do that? Well, it might get a little slower, but my experience is at the very least, the battery performance goes down and down and down and down and down. So by year 2, you can't even make it through a full day on a charge, right? So the upgrade program is basically, I think it's essentially a loan. And I don't know exactly how it works, but every year you just walk in with your phone, you give them your old one, and you take a new one home. And you don't have to, I think it's like $100 up front. And you basically are getting a fresh phone and a fresh battery every year. And it's a flat, not that big of a payment every single month. And you get Apple Care in case something breaks or the screen breaks, and theft protection, which means if it gets stolen, you can get a replacement. It's a pretty good deal. It's basically you're getting a new phone every year. You don't have to pay a large amount up front. You pay slowly over time. It's 0% interest, and you always have a fresh battery. It's a good deal. I think it's a good deal. All right, Octavio is here. What the heck does this do? You could fly to China in it. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Eddie. What do you mean by this? What do you mean by this? But most Koreans use iPhones. Okay, so they don't have there's no upgrade program, but a lot of Koreans have iPhones. And do most people hang on to them for 2 or 3 years before they update? I'm curious about that. Yeah, I mean, I think it's an expensive phone, but I kind of believe you get what you pay for. I've always used, well, not always, but I've mostly, since the modern era of iPhones, I've used them, and I've tried to use Samsung. I've tried to use other brands, and I just can't. I can't do it. iPhones, I think they're the best. I really like them. Ariel, I wonder, just because Samsung comes from Korea doesn't mean Koreans use them, right? All right. A lot of people joining. Great. Great to have everybody here. Awesome. Octavio, I'm doing fantastic. Mohammed from Egypt, just putting a few people up on screen here. Ariel, I wash my face and arms when it's hot. Do you use a fan? Do you have a fan pointing at you? How do you deal with that? There you go. There's your answer. Speaking for all of Korea, our spokesperson for the entire country of, I'm assuming, South Korea. Mostly Korean are using iPhones, even though Samsung exists. But a lot of people in the US use Samsung phones, I know. What is the market share for Samsung? Samsung 2020 Q2 market share 21%. Where? 21% where? What phone brand has What? Does Samsung have a larger market share than Apple? What is the number one phone in the world? Whoa, this is a shocker. Check this out. Oh my God. Okay, I just searched which is the which is the number one phone in the world? The list of top best mobile phone brands in the world is prepared for proper research and study. The best-selling mobile phone brands in the world. Number one, Samsung, 27.94% market share. Wow. Okay. Oh, that's specifically in India. Okay. Tied with Apple. What's for the whole world? That's what I want to know. What's the whole world's market share? It's Samsung. What? This is a shock. 29. What? Nokia. What is this from 2000? What is this? I don't need data from 2004, please. Nokia. Whoa, no. This is not good. Samsung smartphone market share 2009 to 2022. All right, here we go. 2022 Samsung share of global smartphone shipments from second quarter 2009 to first quarter 2022, 21.8%. Whoa, I mean, that's higher than I expected. And then what is Apple's market share? iPhone market share. Hello, Emily. Hello. Notifications. Deny. Don't want that. U.S. market share held by mobile iPhone share of all smartphones. Okay, this is just in the U.S. But look, the market share is going down. So all the phones that are coming out, Samsung and the Google Pixel and all of those, it is going way down, it seems. Interesting. I always thought the iPhone was the most popular. Well, now I know. Cool. All right. We'll be getting to that later. Oh, I have my space picture still. I better change that. Oh no. Oh no. Where's my Buckingham Palace picture? Oh, there we go. Oh, good. All right. Well, again, welcome everyone. We're here on, of course, tragic news that the Queen of England has passed away at the age of 206, and that's, of course, a tragedy. But it offers the opportunity to bring up some language, right? So since it's, it's a topic in the news, I thought we would spend a little time exploring some of the language around royalty, around how royalty passes down from one to another, around the royal family specifically in England. And one thing I'm curious about, because I have no idea, y'all, why does everyone care about the royal family? Because my understanding is they don't really do anything. They don't have any authority in the government, or at least almost none. And so why do people talk about what they're doing and what's going on? Why is it in the news? Why do people care? That's my question. That's my genuine question, okay? So we're going to go over to the blackboard and do some stuff, but keep your questions coming. Emily says, in the Dominican Republic, iPhones are extremely expensive. Eddie says, I have a $150 TCL and it does the job. Well, I got nothing to say to that. That's fantastic. Whatever gets the job done, right? All right. So, I'm gonna hop over to the blackboard in a second. You've seen the news that Queen Elizabeth II has passed away, and then you also hear about who's next, who becomes king or queen next. And this brings up a lot of words that you may hear in the news, that you may hear about in the coming weeks and months. And so I want to just explore a few of those. Just some key words, really just an overview of words around what we could call succession. Succeed sounds like a word we use for doing something, winning, right? I succeeded. But there's another meaning of the word succeed. And it means to take up the place of a previous person in a position of power. It doesn't have to be for royalty. So let's say we're talking here about royalty, all right? We're talking about a monarchy. Royalty just generally is the class of people who are up there in the family of kings and queens and princesses and princes. If you're in that group, you are royalty. You're part of a monarchy. So the monarchy is the system of government. It's the style of government. Now, in the UK, there is a monarchy, but it's not that the monarchy is in charge, of course, because the UK is a democratic government, right? But the monarchy is still there. Some countries, when they change governments or they go from monarchy to democracy, for example, then the royal family is just gone then. They don't have one anymore. But sometimes they keep it as a sort of cultural thing. They do have some responsibilities, but really they're just they're just there, right? And so this would be compared to something like an oligarchy, a democracy and a dictatorship. Different forms of government, right? So royalty they're in a monarchy. The person, though, the person in charge of this is the monarch. The monarch. And they are, it's a weird word, right? They are reigning. And you hear things like during, there's an I, just imagine that's an I, okay? During his or her reign, REIGN. During his or her reign, so many interesting things happened, right? So that's just a period of time when they were there. So during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, maybe, I don't know, when did she become queen? End of World War II or something like that, right? Whenever it was. During her reign, the world became a technological nightmare, or whatever you want to say about that period of time, right? So it's kind of a way to mark a period, but reigning is kind of the activity, and that's not really an action you take, like drinking a glass of 7-Up. It's more like a general description of what you're doing broadly, kind of like living, reigning, living, existing, right? It's a sort of category of existing for a monarch in a way, and they're in charge. They're in charge, and that's their status, right? Okay, but now Queen Elizabeth II has passed away. From what I understand, peacefully. I'll be totally honest, I thought she died a long time ago. And then I saw the news that she passed away, and I remembered, oh, she was still alive. Oh, now she's dead. Okay, well, I mean, she was very old, right? No disrespect, of course, but well, anyway, so then the question is, what happens next? Great. So I talked about the word succeed. So to succeed in this sense, normally we think of succeed as to accomplish something. This sense of succeed is to take over from the head monarch, so the queen. Now, that could be a male or a female. If it's a male, then that person would be a king. Now, if it's a female, that person would be, of course, a queen. So I believe it's her son Charles who will be succeeding to the throne. So you might see that. Charles the third succeeded. Charles succeeded. And sometimes you'll hear to or not. Succeeded the throne or succeeded to the throne. Oops. Let me try that again. THRONE. Yes, perfect. Okay. Succeeded to the throne or succeeded the throne. And sometimes you'll hear instead of throne, crown. Now, the crown is the hat, the golden hat, right? That's what you get. If you're a king or a queen, the biggest benefit is that you get to wear a cool hat made of diamonds and gold. The throne is the cool chair you get to sit in. So you get a cool chair and you get a cool hat. So if you're sitting in the chair, that's your throne. And if you're sitting in your hat, that's your crown, right? That's how it works. Now, throne is not it can be used generally for chairs, but most of the time we just use these two words when we're talking about royalty, okay? So we know succeed, right? But what about when we want to talk about Charles before he becomes the king? I believe now he will be called King Charles, and then you'll see King, something like this. I think it'll be King Charles, capital I, capital I, capital I. And the way that we will say that is, instead of King Charles I, we'll say King Charles the Third. Queen Elizabeth I the Second. These are called Roman numerals, okay? So, if we want to talk about him before he becomes King Charles III and he's just Prince Charles, then he is the heir to the throne. Heir to the throne means that he's the one in line. He's the one that's next. Now, what if, as soon as Queen Elizabeth passed away, King Charles decided to celebrate by going skydiving and forgot his parachute? Of course, that would be a major tragedy, but if that were to happen and he didn't make it, then there would be a third person. And if that person were celebrating with by jumping a large ramp in rollerblades, and that went wrong. So there's a line, and this is called the line of succession. So it goes back to that word succeed. The line of succession is the line of people who are sort of in line to get the crown or in line for the throne. And you can say it either way. Okay, now the last word I want to mention. Oh, by the way, I think he could be called, I'm not sure if people call him this, but I think another way to say heir would be if we say crown prince. And I think if we say crown prince, that means you are in line. A crown prince rather than just a prince. It's like prince plus, right? Prince plus means just a prince, yeah, you have no chance of becoming king. Crown prince means you're in the line of succession and you are a prince. I believe that's how it works. Okay, so now what do we say when he takes the throne? Sometimes you'll hear take. It sounds kind of like taking forcefully, right? Charles will take the throne. What do we say when that happens? What's the ceremony, right? I'm running out of room here, but the ceremony is called a coronation. Now, why is it called a coronation instead of a crownation or a crown-giving ceremony or a crown party? That's a good one. It should be called a crown party. I think that would be awesome if it were called, hey everyone, we're doing the crown party. It's this weekend. Charles is getting the crown. He's going to get a cool chair and he's going to be king. It's going to be great. That's how it should be said. But no, it's called a coronation. And the reason it's called a coronation, if you see here the word corona, this word comes from, by the way, the same reason that coronavirus is called corona, it comes from the outer layer of the sun. If you look at the sun has gas around it. And if you were to cover up the sun itself, you would still see sort of this halo around it, kind of like a glowing light around it. That's called the corona. And that's why the coronavirus is called that, because it looks like that. If you've seen a picture of it, it's a ball with the little knobbies on it. Well, that's what a crown looks like too. That's the reason that kings wear golden crowns. It's supposed to look like the sun. It's supposed to look like the rays of the sun. So that's why it's called a coronation, okay? So those are just some words that you may hear floating around. I just wanted to go over those. If you have any questions, please let me know. I think the words are interesting. Personally, I don't get why people get interested in the royal family in general, but that's just a personal thing. So, as I said, if you have any questions, let me know. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Hello from Florence, says Natalie. Hello, Emily. Crown party, exactly. Charles III. I thought so, Antonio. I'm glad I wasn't wrong about that one. That would have been embarrassing. Yes, Charles III. The knights were... So knights are they're in the system. They're not royalty, but they are anointed directly. So you're a knight only when you are directly knighted by a monarch. I believe it might have to be the queen. I don't know if it can be any monarch. Like, could you be knighted by A prince? I don't think so. I think it has to be the queen. She has a sword. It's dangerously close to the jugular, but she puts the sword on your shoulder and she says, "I dub thee," and then she uses the word sir. So Sir is a title, and it's the title of a knight. So Sir Galahad would be the name of a knight. I dub you Sir Patrick Stewart. And then you now have that title instead of being a Mr. or a doctor or something. The highest title you can get is Sir, which means you're a knight. And once you're a knight, you don't have to ride around on a horse wearing metal armor, but it's a status thing. So, wow, if you're knighted, that's a big deal. Now, it used to be that you would ride around on a horse and terrorize peasants and take their ducks. But now, I don't know if you get ducks, but you get a lot of prestige, right? And I think it's quite interesting. It's kind of like a legacy thing. It's a legacy system. It's pretty cool. Amar says, I don't give a toss about the royal family. I don't particularly either. You think it's a blunt sword? I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. I mean, that's why, I mean, of course, nobody's supposed to feel happy when somebody dies, but at what point you just say, she was really old. I don't know. I didn't know her. It's fine. Yeah, on the news, I've been seeing everyone kind of, I understand the royal family, her immediate family members being very upset. You would be upset if someone in your family died, right? But I'm seeing a lot of, in the tributes on the news, I can't believe she's gone, this sort of thing. Really? Can't believe she's gone? She's 96. Really? I don't know. I'm not celebrating. I'm just saying, she's 96. It's a good time to go, I'd say. I'm not celebrating. I did see someone say something I thought was not offensive, but someone said the queen who ruled over one of the most oppressive empires in human history, on all of the atrocities that they committed around the world. And of course, the British Empire did a lot of pretty dark stuff, and that's totally true. But then she said, I hope she's suffering right now. I think that's probably uncalled for, right? I mean, yes, she's the queen, but she doesn't have any power anymore. It's not like she's really doing anything. The British Empire is not really her responsibility because it doesn't exist anymore. So it's kind of like criticizing someone for something they had very little to do with, from my point of view. There's a company that sells you a square meter in Scotland in order to grant you a title. Okay, it's very interesting that you mentioned this, Amar. So this company, who I will not name because I said no, this company contacted me to ask me if they could sponsor me. They wanted to sponsor the channel. Basically, I would have to then come on and say, there's this company called blah, 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 and you can buy a blah, blah, blah. If you're interested, blah, blah, blah. I would have to do a sponsor sort of read. I said no because I didn't feel that interested in it. What do you think about that? Was that a mistake to say no to that? Should I have said, oh, yes, I would love to do that? I said no. I don't know why the AC turned up again. Turning it back down. Okay. All right, so yes, I don't know if I missed any questions, but if you have any questions about anything along the lines of, I'm an English teacher, so questions about idioms or phrases or words or pronunciation or grammar or differences between words or American culture, let me know. This is the time to ask. This is in part a Q&A, but I also have some topics planned, as I usually do. For example, this sort of stuff on the board where we go through some words. Let's see what let's see what CBS has to say. This is a fairly short video, but just, just to watch it. Why the heck not, right? Not this. There we go. Let me erase this. I'm sorry for my handwriting, guys. I'm working on it. Hopefully you can read it. What do you think about my handwriting? Does anyone have any feedback on my handwriting? Because I do a lot of handwriting in courses. So if you take my courses, it's like watching that for 7 hours or 8 hours. Now, I do the handwriting thing on purpose. By the way, you won't see any content from YouTube in the courses. I spend most of my time working on courses. New one's coming out this month on travel, which is going to be great, I think. I spend most of my time on that. But the reason I do the Blackboard instead of, for example, slides, right, because I could do slides with text, is I feel that even though the writing on slides would be a lot neater and nicer and easier to read, I feel that there's something about the process of writing something out that helps the engagement part, that you're somehow involved in it a little more. Maybe you're writing it down at the same time, maybe not, but just there's something about that ongoing changing thing of filling up a board rather than just saying, here's a slide with a bunch of words on it. I'm definitely leaning more toward that. I think it's just a little more engaging. I enjoy doing it more, but what do you think? I would appreciate your feedback on that as well. Chama's here. Emily and Amar say, good decision on turning down the title company sponsor. Thank you very much. Nobody needs a square meter in Scotland, I think. But if you ever hear me talking about something, then you'll know that it's something I actually like. For example, what would be a company that I would take a sponsorship from? Maybe Audible. I really love audiobooks. Audible would be great. I would do Audible because I actually love Audible. So, all right. Short video. Hey, where's the sound?
Britain's new king is 73 years old, taking on a role he's been preparing to accept for most of his life. In recent years, Charles had assumed many of the Queen's duties, but actually taking the role of monarch is still a huge transition. Let's bring in CBS News royal contributor Julian Payne, who used to be the head of communications for then Prince Charles. Good morning to you, Julian. Thanks for joining us. I first want to start off by acknowledging, the Queen was very young when she took the throne, and now we have her son.
See, some of the words coming up. Took the throne. I said that one. Aha.
Who's in his 70s. We know about his beliefs, his personal feelings. How do you think that will impact the monarchy?
You're absolutely right. This is a very different situation now. We have somebody who is taking the throne, exceeding the throne at 73 years old. Now, there is no way of getting...
Did he say succeeding to the throne at 73? Sorry, somebody's mowing the grass nearby, and their lawnmower sounds messing with my audio. I can't hear as well. Is there any audio issues, guys? Are you able to hear? Is it all clear? Very smooth and clear? All good on the audio?
73 years old. Now, there is no way of getting around it. He is not in the first flush of youth, but what we will see instead of that is more than 50 years of experience on the world stage. He met Winston Churchill. He met every prime minister since then.
Doesn't that guy, what the heck is his name? Prince Andrew, is that his name? No, that's the other guy. He looks scary. He looks like a demon. No offense.
And every world leader, and that experience is something that...
Have you heard the theory that all of the British royals are lizard people? I've heard that one. The world is controlled by an underground secret society of lizard people who are aliens controlling all of human events. Most of the big governments have lizard people involved. and the royal family are all they're all lizard people.
He will be able to bring to his British Prime Minister, but also the other leaders of the realms and the Commonwealth.
What if can you imagine if she were wearing a top hat in this instead of this pink hat? What if, look how tall these hats are, what if she had one of those on? Can you imagine how cool that would be? Miss her already. What a queen.
Around the world.
Slay queen.
So really, we're seeing an exchange of youth to one of experience.
Julian, I like your wording there. The first flush of youth. I'm going to be using that. But you know him very well, and the perception is that he has wanted to be king for a very long time. I want to know, A, is that true? Number two, is it a bittersweet time for him? Because if he has wanted to be king for a very long time, on the other hand, he's also lost his mother, who he affectionately called Mummy. How do you think he's feeling? What do you think he's thinking today?
So look, I think
he just lost his mummy. What do you think he's feeling? And then they show this picture of him going like that. I'm a king. Interesting choice. A new reptile king.
that this is undoubtedly a moment of real personal sadness for King Charles III now. What's a comfort, I think, in a strange way, is he has a duty to perform, and in many ways, this is the reality of the situation. Many people have said over the years that
this is a cool hair thing. That looks like part of her hair. I would wear that. I would wear that on stream. I would like to have one of those. I would wear it everywhere. Birds might live in it. That's dope.
Ways, this is the reality of the situation. Many people have said over the years that this is a role he's been desperately trying to get hold of. The reality is, I've talked to him about it. I know his attitude, and it is simply this. It is a role that he was ready to take on when the time came. He, like his mother, takes the view that this is about duty and service. You do your duty. You provide the service to the nation when you're asked to do it. You don't seek it out. You don't try and get hold of it. But when it comes to you, you take on that role and you do it to the best of your ability. So as we stand here today, I think he will have private moments of reflection when, like any son who's lost his mother, he's going to be terribly sad.
This is not particularly useful commentary.
He's got to begin his new reign.
So he's going to address your nation later today. What do you expect to hear from him?
That's right. I fully expect him to begin by praising his mother and her legacy and saying what that means to both him personally and us as a nation. Then I think he'll talk about the days ahead and what he hopes to do as a servant.
All right. I mean, some of this commentary is, it's a little obvious. How do you think he's going to feel now? He's going to feel sad because his mom died. Okay, that's true, probably, yes. Do you think it's bittersweet? I think it's bittersweet. Okay, what do you think he's going to talk about? He's going to say nice things about his mom. His mummy. Of course. Is he ready? He's ready. Okay. You could kind of fill in the blanks there on that commentary. But I guess that's most of the news these days. Anyway, yes, guys, thanks for joining. If you've just joined, awesome. Would appreciate, hit the like button, subscribe. If you want to, you can get a free course as well if you click on the first link in the chat. Yeah, they have to fill the airtime with something. Yeah, I sometimes feel that way too. Maybe I just did that by watching that video. It's quite possible, to be honest with you. Okay. So a few things I want to do today. There was to any of you who joined on Wednesday, I was trying to do a nature walk live stream, and it was an utter failure. There was a nature trail. There is a nature trail that starts in the town near the town where I live, and goes down to the Hudson River. And I was planning to do that as I thought an interesting live stream to see if I could, make it down there without getting attacked by coyotes or wolves. And unfortunately, 10 minutes into it, the connection just died and I lost signal. And so apologies to anyone who was there and it got cut off. But I probably won't be doing many nature streams from now on because when you're in nature, the signal is bad. What is this, 2004? I feel like the signals should be a lot better in this day and age. I don't know. But I am planning to do more outdoor live streams. So if you have anything specifically you want to check out, let me know. Like, go to this place and we want to see what that's like, right? Like, I don't know, drive-through, Taco Bell drive-through, or I don't know, whatever you want. Let me know. Okay, so one thing I wanted to do a while ago, actually, has to do with an app. We're going to check that out. Let me pop that up on my screen so that I have it, and then we'll go into that. But keep the questions coming. If you have any questions about English grammar or pronunciation or American culture, let me know. Okay, we good? And it's kind of from the British Council. So when it comes to learning grammar, do whatever you can, do whatever works, and don't go with one thing that you think is going to be a magic bullet, because it's complicated. Grammar is complicated. It's difficult. And the best way to learn it is every way to learn it, whatever works for you, right? And that includes courses, grammar books, apps, conversations, reading, quizzes, everything. Whatever works best for you, move more in that direction, right? It's not a one size fits all sort of deal. So we're going to look at an app today from the British Council that focuses on grammar. We're going to check it out. It's not going to be a strong review. I'm going to be looking at it and giving some comments on how I think it works as a way to learn and practice grammar. So let's hop over here to my telephone. And you'll see, okay, so here's the thing. Some apps have ads and they use ads to run, and that's fine. You'll see a lot of ads, and if you want to get rid of those, I believe you can remove ads, and then it has an in-app purchase option. So if you try this and you like it, you can pay to get rid of ads, or you can keep ads if they don't bother you. Some people don't mind ads at all. So you can do an initial check your understanding with a time test based on what you're practicing, right? Or you can practice directly. So we're gonna go to practice. Now, my grammar is unbelievably good, so I'm gonna go to we'll check out the beginner pack just to see what it looks like, or maybe intermediate. But I've got crazy good grammar, so I'm going to go to advanced. The levels are beginner, elementary, intermediate, advanced. Okay, so let's go to advanced pack 1. One thing I do like about this is how straightforward it is. You just go in and you start. You pick where you want to start and then you just go. It doesn't force you to go through a specific path. I sometimes get annoyed by that when there's too much control. If I'm at the intermediate or advanced level, I know what I want to do, right? You don't have to tell me exactly what to do next. So, okay. Now I can choose. And the other thing that's cool about this is that you know what degree of difficulty these specific things are when you open them. So what's intermediate? Well, intermediate is WH questions, question tags, simple past, past continuous, used to, will and going to, future continuous. What's intermediate? Or rather, what's advanced? then simple past version, used to, past perfect, past continuous. So, it's interesting how they lay it out in these pieces. Mixed conditionals, present perfect continuous, future perfect continuous. Probably fairly advanced. So let's go to future perfect continuous. We got a picture here of a hiker or mountain climber rather. And I'm just going to go through this. It looks like I have 20 questions to do. When it gets to midday, we'll have climbing for 6 hours without water. Doesn't sound right to me. I don't like it. When it gets to midday, we'll have been climbing for 6 hours without water. I'm going to go with that one. Have been instead of have climbing. Have been climbing. We will have been. Looking at a future thing, but a thing that will be a continuous action. So we need been there. We got to have been there. Okay. I'm going to go with that. What do I do next? What do I do? Once I clicked it. So what do I do? Check? Oh, good. Hey. Next. Which sentence is grammatically correct? 2 of 20. By Christmas, Mum and Dad will have been married for 40 years. By Christmas, Mum and Dad will have been being married for 40 years. Come on. Have been married. Have been being is an excessive amount of grammar and isn't correct. Hey. Next. Pretty straightforward. Okay, but not all the questions are the same. Now I've got a fill in the blank one. Okay, I can't believe next week I'll here for 12 years. I'll have working, have been working, been work, or have worked. If I will still be there, then I'll have been working. If I finished and I'm not working there, then it would be have worked. I'll have worked here for 12 years. Actually, I'll have been working here and I'll have worked would. Can't believe next week I'll have worked here for 12 years. I'll have been. Yeah. Have worked and have been working are both correct. I think what they want me to choose is have been working as correct, but I am going to choose have worked just because I'm curious to see if there are 2 possible correct answers here. I think they want me to choose the other one though. Yeah, I thought so. I mean, technically though, have worked is correct. It is the correct answer. It is a correct answer. Okay. Have been working. Yeah, okay, I know. Okay, which sentence is future perfect continuous? You know when it's correct because they want you to answer with the future perfect continuous because that's what module you're on. Not because the other answer is wrong, but because the other answer is not in future perfect continuous. That's why they want you to choose the other. You know, when it gets to 5, we'll sit here for 2 hours. You know, when it gets to 5, we'll have been sitting here for 2 hours. Got it. Ding. Okay, very quickly moving through these. Which sentence is grammatically correct? He will have been living in Tunisia for 3 years next January. He will have been living in Paris for 3 years next January. He will have... Oh, being living is the first one. Been living. Is it just me or are these extremely easy? I don't know. I reckon in a few years we each other for nearly half our lives. Will have been knowing. We have known. We have been known or will have known. Will have been knowing. Will have known. I reckon in the next few years we will have known each other. Okay. Here we go. Hey. When they get to the top, they for 24 hours nonstop. Will be climbing, will have be climbing, will have been climbed, will have been climbing. Anytime you hear continuous and it's the perfect continuous, there's a been usually and there's an ing. So that's the simple thing. You want the been and you want the ing. The past participle and then the ing after it. Hey. Ladies and gentlemen, no doubt why I have invited you here this evening. No doubt you will have been wondering, will have wondered. You will have been wondering. You will have wondered. Actually, again, the bottom two are grammatically correct. So we could go, I think we could go either one. I think they want us to answer that one. We estimate that at least 600 people, the petition by the end of today will have signed. Will have signed the petition by the end of today. Check. Hey. All right, we've got 10 more. I'm going to fly through these because I want to see what happens after. He said he's revising and not to disturb him, just give him a knock. I'm sure he for that long. He won't have been studying for that long, won't be studying for that long. Won't have been studying. Hey. Oh, great. Oh, wow. Translator, go. I'm going to skip it. I'm going to close it. Okay. Click on the main verb in the example of future perfect. So what do you think? Click on the main verb in the example of future perfect. Okay. So what do you think the manager will have told his players at halftime? Will have... Oh. The main verb in the example. Okay, so told. What do you think the main... I think this is what they're asking me to do. Well, it's hard to say, really, John. I think he'll have had a go at the defense for sure. Have had? What? No, I'm confused. Click on the main verb in the example of future perfect. I don't understand what it's asking me to do. The main verb in the example of future perfect, he'll have had. The main verb inside of the future perfect or the main verb of the sentence? The right number of words are already selected. Please deselect one. He'll have been having a few... Okay, you know what? I'm just going to click check. I don't exactly understand what they're asking me here. What do you want from me? Oh, that's a very confusing question. Okay, that one is very weird. Click on the main verb in the example. Click on the main verb in the example of future perfect. I'm due to retire soon. I'll have been working in this company for... Okay, I think I know what they want me to answer, but I still find this question format deeply weird. Okay. There are 2 mistakes in the text. Find them. I'm planning on retiring in November. By that time, I'll have been trained up. I will have trained up my replacement, and the kids, I hope, will have starting university started. So it should be, I'll have trained up my replacement, and the kids, I hope, will have started university. Oh, of course. Okay, there are 2 mistakes in the text. Find them. The next few days are really critical. She will have been being on life support for 6 months. Okay, she will have been on life support for 6 months. And we'll just have to see how her body have reacted to this. How her body reacted to this. I feel like that's pretty easy. Arrange the words in the correct order to make a sentence. What? Well, I don't really want to. Okay, by Sunday we'll have been traveling for by next Sunday will have been traveling for 6 months. Hey, easy enough. Arrange the sentence. Oh, again, I don't want to, though. Arrange the words in the correct order to make a sentence. Sentences are supposed to start with capital letters. I'll have been working here for 22.0 years next month. Okay, I don't know why it says 22.0 instead of just 22. But okay, I'll have been working here for 22 years next month. All right, weird. Okay, we've got 3 more questions here. By this time next, okay, what do I have to do here? Complete the sentence using the correct form of the word. Oh, these dropped down. Okay, that would have probably helped me for those very confusing questions. Okay, by this time next week, you own this house. Okay, you will have owned. Check. Hey. Okay. 2 more. Wait, no, 3 more. Oh. By next Sunday, we will have been traveling for 6 months. We will have traveled for... Okay, let's see. Hey! Next month, they... Okay. Will have... By next month, they will have... Can I do... I'm going to try lived. Instead of will have been living, I'm just going to go with lived. They will have lived. Hey, it's will have been living. Okay. Answer, will have been living. Yeah. Just wanted to try it out. Okay. It is correct, by the way. Technically, it's correct. I have been watching the clock, and in 10 minutes' time, you... on the sofa playing Xbox for nearly 6 hours straight. You... Since he's still playing, will have, it's getting a little repetitive here, been playing. But I have been watching the clock, and in 10 minutes' time, you will have been playing. Playing. Oh, so I want to change it. I almost submitted that by accident. Not playing, sitting. What am I doing? You'll have been sitting on the sofa playing Xbox for nearly 6 hours straight. Okay, here we go. Last one. Hey. So actually, I think, and here's my scores. So I want to rate it. Not now. 17 out of 20. I wanted to, push the boundaries and see if I could just try something that's technically grammatically correct that doesn't fit in the grammar. So, believe me, I could have got all these right, except for that one confusing question I didn't understand. That one I actually legitimately got wrong. But I blame the question. Never blame myself. I always blame something else. Okay, so we're done with this one. And now we've got another thing coming up here. I think as a way to... So it shows that I've done it. It's 100%. If I click on it, it just brings the same exercise up again. Now, I think as a way to practice, I think this is pretty good for a couple reasons. It's not overly forced. A lot of the apps that I've tried will force you through something, and your mind is numbed because you have to do so many things you already know before you get to the stuff that challenges you. This kind of says, listen, here's a list of grammatical things that you need to know. Pick the ones that you think you need to learn. If you already know them, don't pick them. We're not forcing you through anything. And it's laid out relatively in the order of easy to difficult, from beginner to elementary to intermediate to advanced. And if you know that, even though it's in advanced, I already really know that, then don't do it. I kind of like that aspect of it. The questions, I thought most of them were pretty good. I like that there's a bit of variation. You have some multiple choice, some word order questions. You have to write a little bit. I like that they put that toward the end instead of making that part at the beginning, because they're kind of building you up toward that. I have some complaints about that one weird type of question that I thought was a little confusing and misleading. But other than that, I think it's actually a pretty good way to practice. After you go through 20 questions practicing that, now you have a pretty good picture, a pretty good idea for how to do it. At least it gives you much more exposure to that sentence structure, that type of grammar. And so I think it's a good way to practice. I would recommend, before you would think about turning the ads off, that you would try it a few times and see. But I also would say supplement that by writing down your own examples, because that type of output, the type of output of completing answers, never compares to making something on your own, writing a short paragraph with that grammar and thinking through all the words instead of just picking the words that they have for you. So maybe do both. And again, don't rely on one source. Don't rely on one thing to tell you, okay, this is how you learn grammar. Nothing is that simple. The more things you try, the more things you do, I think the better it is. And then do more of the stuff that's working for you. Everybody's unique. And so find what works for you and do that more. And if something doesn't work, then do that less. But try everything. Okay. Nahat is here. Inextricable. AA, hello. I see some questions on pronunciation. You just reminded me of something a teacher said at my classroom many years ago. He said basically there's present and past tense, but there is no future tense in English. Is that true? Kind of true, yes. It's kind of true in the sense that the actual tense of the right, the way that tense works, right, is that you have a verb that changes. And so if you say take the word walk, and change it to walked, then that is a tense of the verb which is making it in the past. Simple transformation of the word itself which pushes it into the past, right? Okay, well now what change of the word will make it future? There isn't one. There is no change of the word walk that by itself makes it the future. So how do you say it's in the future? You have to sort of build a little structure around it to tell people that it is in the future. So is going to walk, will walk, right? That sort of thing is the structure you build around it. So it's not a real future tense. It is a structure built around the simple present tense or other tenses that then tells you it's in the future. Now it gets more complicated when you have something like present future continuous tense, because then you bring in the, for example, will have been structure that we've been just looking at. She will have been walking. Now the other tenses would be, for example, walking, which is a continuous tense. So walk is the simple present, walked is the simple past, walking is the continuous. And then sometimes you have a special tense called the past participle. It's kind of a tense or a form of the verb. Now for walk or walked, there isn't one. It is walked. But for something like see, the past simple past is saw, but then the past participle is seen. So you have that special tense. Eat, ate, eaten, right? And then of course saying something like eat and eats is changing it to agree with the subject, so that's not considered a tense, right? So the way that it works is when you want to put something in the future, you have to consider what kind of thing you're putting in the future. If you're putting something that will be true in the future that is continuing into the if you're putting something that is continuing into the future, then you use the continuous tense and you build a structure around it called the present perfect tense. And the present perfect tense is the subject and then have or has, and then often if it's continuous, been, and then the ing or continuous tense. So that's generally how it works. It gets really complicated, but practicing that 20 times I think it's useful. I think it helps you. All right, 1 second. Okay. See if I missed any questions here. Eddie says, "Hey Luke, could you pronounce the word inadvertent?" Inadvertent. Although many people will say inadvertent. Inadvertent. So the T will be pronounced verdant, like a light D sound, and then the end of the word will be a stop T pronunciation. Verdant. 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 So if you say it with all the T sounds, then it's inadvertent. 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 And if you say it with the light D and the stop T sound at the end, it's inadvertent. Inadvertent. So you hear that T sound in the light D. And then this one is inextricable. 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 I think it's exactly as it looks, to be honest with you. Last class we looked at Google's pronunciation teaching, and I think that's really cool. So why don't we see what old Google says about it as well. How to pronounce inadvertent. Okay. Oh, let me pop over here. All right. Now they've given us the number of syllables. Inadvertent. Okay, we listen.
Inadvertent. Inadvertent.
We slow down.
Inadvertent.
Oh, they're doing the D one. They're actually not saying it as they're writing it.
Inadvertent.
Inadvertent. Okay, they're doing the light D, but they're doing the T at the end. Now we click on practice. Inadvertent. You may have mispronounced. I think it caught something. Inadvertent. Sounds like, okay, how to improve. Make sure your tongue is on the bottom of your mouth. Short. So which one did I say wrong? What they spelled is exactly what they have here. Something went wrong. Yes. Inadvertent. Hey, they want me to say the T sound. Okay, let me try it the other way. Inadvertent. Okay, so they're pronouncing it. Okay, so what I said was with a clear T sound, inadvertent, and they said great job. But when I listen to this,
Inadvertent.
am I not hearing the D sound there? Inadvertent. Am I crazy? Is my audio too low? Let me listen.
Inadvertent.
They're definitely saying the D sound. So now when I say the D sound, they tell me it's wrong. Hypocrisy, Google. Outright, rampant hypocrisy. Inadvertent. I don't know what to say. But if I say it the wrong way according to that audio clip, inadvertent. Then it's perfect. See? The first time that this has failed, Google, and what the other one was inextricable, right? So let's see how to pronounce inextricable. Do they have it? Inextricably. Inextricable. Here we go. Okay. Inextricable. I don't find that particularly useful.
Inextricable.
What? That's not how it's said. It's not inextricable. It's inextricable. They have the stress on neck, inextricable. No, it's pronounced inextricable. And the strict is stressed. Google. Bad Google.
Inextricable.
Inextricable? Inextricable. You may have mispronounced. I said inextricable. Okay, let's try again. Inextricable. Perfect. Let's try how I would say it though, because that's not how I would actually say it. I would say inextricable. Here we go. Inextricable. They say I have many mistakes. How dare you? How dare you correct me? To put less emphasis on the vowel sound to pronounce it and to pronounce it quickly, make sure your tongue is on the blah, blah, blah. Inextricable, not inextricable. The heck? Inextricable. Okay. Well, let's shut up. How dare you? Let's see what they say here.
Inextricable.
Oh, there we go. That's more like what I said.
Inextricable.
Inextricable. That's a robot one.
Inextricable.
We don't want the robot.
Inextricable.
All right. We don't want the robot. We don't need the robot. Get that out of my face. All right, Google. Well, I guess human teachers are useful after all. Google has a long way to go. I guess that's why it's in beta still. I thought we checked this out before. I thought this tool was really cool. Now my faith in it is wavering somewhat. Ah, well. You just remember, Nahat says we have to teach these grammar rules to learners. However, we rarely use them in our daily conversations. I will have been married by next summer. Yeah. I mean, I do use it sometimes. I will have lived here for 6 years next Tuesday. That's a useful structure to know. I don't think it's unnecessary. I don't think it's not useful. By the way, guys, if you're just joining, my name is Luke. I am your English teacher for this fine Friday afternoon. Thank you so much for joining. It's been great so far. I have a few things more I want to talk about. If you have questions about pronunciation or grammar, idioms, phrases, culture, please put those in the chat. If you are watching this later and you're not watching live, then shame on you. I want to talk about an article, and I want to look at Reddit and answer any questions, any other questions. And I do have a couple other things I might talk about. Anyway, with Youglish, we can have extracts of real uses in videos. I like that better. I'll have to check that one out. Thank you, Emily. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Guys, if you haven't already done so, hit the like button and subscribe. It's a very simple way, even if it's just the like button and not subscribing, it's a very simple way to support the channel. It makes a big difference to me. If it's just a little thing that takes you half a second, that's actually a very big help to the channel. I do these live lessons every Wednesday and Friday, although this most recent Wednesday I kind of failed to do a hiking one. And so please join us live and check out other videos that get posted throughout the week. And check out the courses. You can get a free course if you like in the links in the description. A free English course, or you can check out my full courses as well if you'd like to. Google has upset you many times. MD, I appreciate that. Are you you are an MD? That's fantastic. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate everyone who joins on Wednesdays and Fridays. I'm just curious, if you haven't already shared, where are you watching from? I know that Emily is in, Dominican Republic, you said, right? And where else are you watching from? Dominican Republic, Korea. Where else do we have people watching from today? Mozambique, Canada, Turkey, India, United States. Cool. All right, great. Great. All right, so I want to, now since we're on sort of the theme of royalty and whatnot, I'd like to do something that we did in the past a couple of weeks ago. You know, let me know if you like this sort of thing, but we're going to be looking at a news story. I personally think it's a cool way, it's a useful way to explore language, to dig out new language. From France, watching from France, fantastic. The thumbnail's going to trigger some people. I hope so. Watching from Italy, Natalie, great. You know, I thought about that. I thought, is this is this an offensive thumbnail? I thought to myself. And then I thought, yeah, a little bit. I couldn't think of anything else to do, so anyway, it's just a silly joke, of course. It's a silly joke. Although I wonder, how far down does the line of succession go? In theory, are we all in the line of succession? You know, if, for example, is there a list of how many humans are there on Earth? Total human population is currently 7.97. Well, we're getting very close to 8 billion people. Cool. Scary. That's cool and scary. So, I wonder, are we all in the line of succession? And if so, is there a list of 7.97 billion people that goes all the way down and is constantly being updated every second? And if so, where am I in the list? And how do I get it? I want that crown. That's all I want. I want that crown. I'm going to move to Sweden next month for work. Thank you for your lessons. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Bangladesh is watching. MD Arktarul is Parmanik is watching from Bangladesh. Could you make lesson about the advanced uses of wood? We learned the common ones. Yeah, that's a good topic for a video. I'm going to write that down I have a list of upcoming videos. I'm actually working on a series of videos for you guys. I'm going to write that one down. I have in one of my courses, wood is covered in the course. So let me see which lesson that's in. Hold on. So I recently launched a course on grammar, and if you check that one out, it's called English Grammar Complete, All English Sentence Patterns. Let's see, description, special questions. There is a part of that course that focuses on the wood sentences, or includes the wood sentences. So that one would be a good one to start with. That course is right now on Udemy, and just launched it in May, so pretty recently. It's 14.5 hours of basically grammar lessons at the blackboard. So if you want to check that out, you're welcome to. That one is, I'll just show you quickly. Looks like this. It looks like this. These are all the lessons in the course. As you can see, 14.5 hours. It's a very long course. You won't find any of that stuff on, for example, YouTube. I spend most of my time working on courses. I spend about 70% of my time working on courses, actually. That's what I spend a lot of my time on. You can check out my courses on my website. You can also check them out on Udemy, for example. 34,700 reviews, 147,000 students, 16 courses. Average instructor rating 4.6 out of 5. Who are these 2% of people? How dare they? No, the one thing you learn making anything, honestly, making courses, is you cannot please everyone. Something you make will be to many people exactly what they were looking for. And then due to just a misalignment of expectations or whatever, some people just say, this is not what I was expecting. I don't like it. Now, what I try to do is make courses that most people are going to really like, because again, you can't please everybody, right? So I think that's why my reviews are pretty high, is I try to make courses that are going to be 74% 5-star reviews, for example, 20% 4-star reviews. But you can't please everybody. Sometimes people will say, really good, loved it, 2 stars. What is that? What is that when people do that? Loved it, 1 star. What? I wonder if some people think that 1 means number 1, like this is the best, this is number 1, 1 star. I don't know. Anyway, just know that I do see all the reviews anyway. All right. Well, I want to move on to the article. Lisa, Alejandro. Hey, Luke. Alejandro, welcome. Amar says, Luke, pretty good. Sorry, couldn't. Luke, I think I told that joke before, right? That happened to me at the dentist's office. MD says, a buyer course after creating my international bank account. You're in high school. Are you really an MD if you're in high school? Probably not. But anyway, thank you for watching. Appreciate that. MD means medical doctor. Cool. Well, I want to take a look at an article about the line of succession. What happens now that Prince Charles is taking the throne, not from Queen Elizabeth, but taking the throne because Queen Elizabeth has passed away. So we're going to read through basically what happens next. Instead of hearing it from me, in my opinion, we're going to go through it in an article, and we're going to explore. What I like to do with articles is pull out some of the language. News articles can be a fantastic way to explore and learn new sentence structures, new idioms and phrases, new vocabulary. And we're going to do this. We're going to do it together. Okay, so let's pop over to the article. Who succeeds when Queen Elizabeth II, that's how that's said. Who succeeds, not when, I made that up. I added that with my brain. Who succeeds Queen Elizabeth II? Here's who is next in line to the throne. Spoiler alert, it's not me, unfortunately. Although, I may be in the line of succession. You never know. Here's the royal family. Wow, cool. They're looking up. They're all looking directly at an eclipse, like that one picture of Donald Trump. Remember that picture where there was an eclipse happening, and when an eclipse happens, you're not supposed to look at it because it can hurt your eyes. So everyone was wearing those special sunglasses, and he was looking right at it. If that's not cool, I don't know what's cool. That's cool. Queen Elizabeth II has died at age 96. The royal family gathered at her bedside in Balmoral Castle in Scotland. Britain's longest reigning monarch has been planning for her succession for some time. Members of the royal family, including King Charles III, who until Thursday was the longest-serving heir in British history, have increased their responsibilities as the Queen's health declined. Okay. Now, one thing that's interesting that I want to point out, something that I think is kind of cool here, is the use of hyphens. Here we have two that I think are interesting that I'd like you to pay attention to. Longest reigning and longest serving. So one interesting aspect of the English language is that we get to make up our own adjectives. Adjectives are the most, close to the most flexible thing in the English language. You can add together two words to make a single adjective. And all you have to do is use a hyphen. That's all it takes. So here they're using longest serving. So what's happening here is you have it's used as, it's a verb structure, right? But they've added a superlative to it. Farthest, longest, oldest, right? So you could put a superlative adjective with a hyphen and then an ing verb together to make a single adjective. So the fastest swimming duck. Or you could say the coolest looking, fastest swimming duck in town. Okay, so what is that doing? Why is that better than saying, so not duck, not Dutch, okay, duck, okay, duck, that's okay. Why do that? Why do it? It's cool because it allows you to very conveniently put everything in front of the noun instead of saying it after. Okay, you could say, the duck that looks coolest and swims fastest. The duck that, the duck who, right? Building everything after. Okay, what if I want to put it before? Because I want to say other stuff after. The coolest looking, fastest swimming duck in town who just bought a brand new Bugatti, right? Then I can add something. I can use my who or my that, depending on if I consider a duck a who or a that. I can use my who or a that after, and it's not being used up by these other adjectives that I would prefer to use before. It's extremely useful. It's very cool. Who, I like to use who because I consider ducks to be kind of people. Ducks are people too. The coolest looking, fastest swimming duck who just bought a brand new Bugatti with the Bitcoin that he sold, with the Bitcoin that he inherited from his crypto billionaire uncle who, okay, we can keep going, right? So it's just an interesting structure, and I think you should consider using it, particularly in writing. All right, here we go. Anyway, the Queen's health declined. So what do we mean when we say that something declined? Decline, it means go down. Could we say go down? It wouldn't sound right. So if we say the Queen's health declined, it suggests that maybe someone is approaching death. So you wouldn't use it unless you wanted to talk about death, honestly. So you could say, yes, her condition is declining or has declined. And it's often used only when you want to kind of suggest without saying she's about to die. You want to say it a little more gently, right? We're talking about the Queen here, right? Yes, she's 96, but if we were to rephrase this, right? If we were to rephrase this like this, where's my classroom here? Yeah. If we were to rephrase this as the Queen was about to die, it just sounds so blunt and direct, and it doesn't sound good, right? For an article like this, it sounds so much more respectful and polite to say decline. You could use it for non-near-death situations, but less common. Who inherits the throne? Now, inherit can be used for physical things or titles. In this case, we're inheriting a title. The title being, yes, the throne, which is the big chair, but also the title, which is the monarchy, the head monarch, which is, in this case, for Charles III, spoiler alert, King Charles III. He's inheriting it. You would inherit an old watch from your grandfather. You would inherit $5,000 from your uncle you didn't know. You inherit anything that you get, including, by the way, your genes, not your Geans, but your Genes, your DNA. You could say I inherited specific traits. I inherited my mother's nose and my father's tendency to walk around the house repetitively using the same phrase again and again as a way to relieve tension and stress. I inherited that from my father, for sure. It's a trait. It's a characteristic. When I go downstairs to get my coffee, I'm going to be repeating the same 5 phrases again and again. I don't know why I do it. It's really weird, but my father did it, and I think I got it from him. I inherited that from him. So we can inherit all kinds of things. And it, by the way, does not have to mean that they're dead. My father is still very much alive, but that's where I got it from. Okay. Charles, as the Queen's eldest son, now why don't we say oldest? Eldest is more common. It feels a bit more formal, but you could say oldest. In the case of a description of a whole family, eldest is more common. It's just a legacy thing. Inherited the sovereign title. Now, this word sovereign here really just means the head monarch, the one in charge, right? And job of head of the Commonwealth. So if you hear sovereign, it's going to have something to do with a monarchy or royalty or something like that. We don't use the word sovereign in an electoral system, right? So for a democracy, you would say president, vice president, words like that, right? We don't say sovereign for them, but we say sovereign for a leader who got their position by birth, who got their position because they're in some kind of royal family, because they're part of a monarchy. So you hear the word sovereign. In movies, you'll hear people address the king or queen or leader as sovereign. Dear sovereign, right? They'll say that. Head of the Commonwealth. That is all of the sort of the last remaining remnants of the British Empire. Okay, here's an interesting picture. So the Queen, and then Charles, and then Prince William, and then his son Prince George, and then they are all in succession. George and his 3 kids, then Harry, his little brother, and then Archie. Where am I on this? Where am I? I must be down further. Okay. In the past, the Queen expressed desire for Charles to take over the Commonwealth. It is my sincere wish that the Commonwealth will continue to offer stability and continuity for future generations, and will decide that one day the Prince of Wales should carry on the important work started by my father in 1949. She said in 2018, after he was unanimously voted to be the next head. So head, again, is a leadership position. It's a head of a company, the head of a group, the head of an organization. Head is a very, very common word to just mean in charge of something. What does unanimous mean? This is an interesting word that we can just quickly explore here. To do something unanimous. Okay, I'm gonna erase a bit. It can be used in a couple different ways depending on where we put it in the sentence. So unanimously and unanimous. So unanimously, used, of course, as an adverb, would follow something like unanimously voted, as we saw here. But unanimous would precede, usually, a noun, and that would be something like a unanimous vote. So depending on how you want to say it, you could say it was a unanimous vote. We decided that Charles would be the next sovereign, or we unanimously voted. And it means the same thing. It's just a different feeling. If you use the adverb form, it might feel a little more active. And if you use the a unanimous vote, it feels more static and maybe a little more solid or concrete, right? And if you want to have that solid, concrete feeling, right, and you want to say to the one person who disagrees with the rest of the group, I'm sorry, except for you, it was a unanimous decision. I know you have a different view, but this was a unanimous decision. And that gives some power to it to maybe convince that person to change their mind or just give up because it's 10-1. Besides your view on this, it is totally unanimous. It's a unanimous decision, or we have a unanimous feeling. We're all together. There's nobody who disagrees, right? If you watch a trial, the jury has to be unanimous on the decision. They need a unanimous verdict. They need a unanimous verdict during the trial in order to make a decision. I believe all cases need to be unanimous. You only need one juror to disagree and vote differently for it to be, I believe, a mistrial, in which case they can't make a decision. Who is Charles, formerly Prince of Wales? Charles, 73. By the way, never say this. This is only for written English. Sometimes you see things that are only written and they're only meant to be written. So if you want a detail between two commas, often you'll see this in an article, but you won't hear people say it. You won't hear people say, Charles, Duke of Wales, has waited for decades, unless it's a news broadcast. But if it's a news broadcast, then it's probably been written, so it's kind of spoken writing, right? Charles, 73, Duke of Wales, between the two commas like that. So normally the way that someone would say that would be Charles, who is, so you have that who is there to make it more naturally spoken, has waited decades to become king and is the longest serving heir, pronounced without the H, in British history. He is the eldest of 4 children born to the Queen and her late husband, Prince Philip. Does that mean he's late for something? He's late for a party? He's late for a bus? No, if someone says late as an adjective, right? Her late husband, the late. So the other way that this would be written would be, for example, the late Carl Sagan. That's the first person who popped into my mind. So what does that tell me? Well, I'm using late to say that this person has passed away, but I don't have to add that detail now because now I've said it. And it's a way to say it that quickly conveys the information. You don't have to say it. You could just say Carl Sagan, right? The late Carl Sagan said, tells you a little bit more about Carl Sagan, and you don't need to say, oh, what does he say now? What's his opinion now? And then I don't have to say, oh, he passed away 30 years ago. I said that. I slipped that adjective in there to let you know that this person is no longer living. It's actually really simple. And it's spoken or written. You can use it spoken too. When his mother assumed the throne at age 25, he became Britain's heir apparent at age 3. That means, he will be next. Charles's titles have included Prince of Wales, Duke of Cornwall, Duke of Rothesay, I'm not sure how to say that, Rothesay, and Earl of Carrick. I'm not sure how to say this word, actually. How do we say this? Yeah, you know what? I don't care. How about that? I don't care. Charles married Diana Spencer in 1981, and the couple became known as the Prince and Princess of Wales. They had 2 children, Princes William and Harry. Charles and Diana separated in 1992. Following Diana's death in 1997, Charles married Camilla Parker Bowles, now known as the Duchess of Cornwall, in 2005. So you're seeing here Duke and Duchess. So what is a Duchess? A Duchess is a female duke. It's the female version of duke. A duke is just a title. It is a sort of high level, I believe, in royalty social class, right? And a female version of duke is Duchess. And I live near a county called Dutchess, but I think the Duchess that I live near is spelled differently. I think it's Dutchess. I don't know. Anyway. Charles has long campaigned for a better environment, championing global stability, sustainability, and speeches over the years. In speech, what's wrong with my brain? All right, let me read that sentence again. Charles has long campaigned for a better environment, championing global sustainability in speeches over the years. Ugh, that was a rough sentence for me. I was thinking about something else. So what does it mean to champion something as a verb? Campaigning, championing, that means we really support it. We say we believe in it. We want it to be true. I champion this. She championed that for many years. So if there's a cause you believe in, you strongly support, you champion that cause. But to campaign for it is to actually take action, to go out there and talk about it on the news or broadcasts or write about it, to actually do something, to campaign for president. It's usually a fairly formal thing, but it's a movement. It's something you actually are hoping to accomplish as part of a process. I'm campaigning for president. My campaign for president is me running for president, me trying to become president. His work includes expanding education and opportunities for young people in the United Kingdom. Will the new king be called King Charles III? Yes, his full name is Charles Philip Arthur George, so he could have selected any of those as his regnal name. Regnal title? Regnal? Is that how you say that? Regnal? This is a new word for me. I did not know this word. Let's check it out. Regnal, pronounced, of a reign or monarch, adjective of a reign or monarch. She organizes her material by regnal periods. Regnal? Is it pronounced regnal or I gotta know how to say this. I have to know. How to pronounce Okay, let's listen.
Regnal.
Regnal. Oh, hey, I was right. I guessed correctly. New word for me. So he could have been King Philip, King Arthur, King George, because that's his full name, and apparently you can choose. But he appears to have decided to keep things simple. He'll be known as King Charles III, according to Clarence House, his official residence. Ah, all right. Very cool. Oh, we're not done. I thought we were done. Well, how long is it? I thought the article ended there. You know what? I might call it. I honestly thought that the article ended right there. What does that mean? Does that mean that Kamala is queen? Who will succeed Charles? All right, we saw the picture. This is what I want to know. Is Prince Andrew still in line? That is, Andrew, Duke of York, is 8th in line to the British throne. He is the second son of the Queen, but announced in 2019 that he would be quitting public duties after becoming enmeshed in a sexual abuse lawsuit filed by an American woman who said disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein had forced her to have sex with the prince on 3 occasions. Okay. Andrew is so far down the line of succession that it is unlikely he would ever be king. Further, British media has long reported that Charles is mulling the idea of a slimmed down monarchy and probably will reduce the number of family members considered senior royals, which could mean Andrew's role is cut. So he's going to actually make the club smaller. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, let's call it there. I at least hope we got a few interesting points out of there. I learned a little bit. Regnal is a new word for me. I didn't know it before. Cool. Cool. All right. Creative Man says, your class is very boring. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me. Inherit. What does it mean? As I said, it means something is passed down. Could you please give some tips on how we can overcome our fear of public speaking? That's a good one. I think the key is to gain confidence in the specific area where you will be doing public speaking. So if you do a lot of it, then you just get so comfortable with it that you completely forget what it feels like to be nervous. I think it's all about confidence. That's what it is for me. So for example, if you put me in a position right now where I would have to go up on a stage and read a speech, maybe I've practiced it 100 times, I would probably feel pretty nervous. Why is that? because I've only had to do that a couple of times in my entire life. So because I haven't done that very often, I would probably feel nervous. So anytime you're in a situation that's new, you're going to feel fear and you're going to feel anxiety, and it might cause you to make mistakes. I would make mistakes for sure. But if you put me in a situation in front of people, whether it's on a stage or online or something, and I'm kind of just freestyling, that means I don't have a script. I'm not reading something. I'm just talking and saying what I want to say. Well, that I have a lot of experience with. I've been doing it for a long time. Live streaming, courses, videos, presentations in public, right? On stuff on stage. I've done a lot of it. I feel very comfortable with it. So speeches, no. Not much practice with that. Just talking about stuff, a lot of practice. So I feel very comfortable. I feel very relaxed. Because I've done it so much, I just feel very comfortable. And that's all it is, right? They say if you have a phobia or a fear of something, one of the best ways to solve that problem is exposure therapy. That means you expose yourself to that fear so much that eventually you just think, all right, well, I've seen so much of that. It doesn't really scare me anymore. No, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, so I don't know if that's always the case. But I know that exposure therapy is a common way to treat fears. Well, look at it that way. What would be exposure therapy for fear of public speaking? That would be to speak in public way more, right? So anytime you have a fear of something, go into it and do more of it. And eventually you're going to gain confidence and you're going to get much better at it. That's how it works. So I vote for exposure therapy. If there's a way for you to sign up for Toastmasters, that's there might be a small fee, or it might be free. Sign up for events where you have to talk in public, or you have to at least share your opinion. Whatever it is that scares you, try to do more of it, and eventually it's just going to feel natural and it's going to be no big deal. I mean, that's really it. That's all you have to do. Easy. It's actually easy. Just do it. It's so easy. All right. BB says, who is the woman who called Elizabeth II is American? BB. Mar, put a sock in it. BB is back with a vengeance. Who is Prince Charles, Luke? Is it Indian or American, and what is his job? Are you serious? I swear, I can't. BB is always right on the line of being a complete troll, and I never know for sure. What do you mean is Prince Charles Indian? What does that mean, BB? Prince Charles is not Indian. He's the least Indian-looking human being I've ever seen in my entire life. I've never seen a less Indian person before. Why are you wearing a coat? It is cold in Russia, Luke. What is that? What are you saying? What do you mean it's cold in Russia? I'm not in Russia. I don't live in Russia. I'm not Russian. I've never been to Russia before. I'm confused. BB, you confuse me. BB is a troll. You're just trolling me. You're trolling me, BB. You're trolling us all. Stop it. Or don't stop. Wait, do the royal family have a surname? Isn't the royal family the surname of something? So if it's Charles, wait, what did it say his full name was? It said his full name was let's see, I'll go down. Charles, full name. Where's that? Farther down. Where does it say his full name? We read that. His titles included Prince of Wales, Duke of Cornwall, Duke of Rothesay, and Earl of Carrick. Okay, here we go. His full name is Charles Philip Arthur George. But I don't think that the family... Does that mean that Queen Elizabeth's name is Queen Elizabeth George? What is Queen Elizabeth's full name? Okay. Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor. So Windsor? Okay. What is Prince Charles's full name? Charles Philip Arthur George. All right. What is Prince William's full name? William Arthur Philip Louis Mountbatten Windsor. Okay, I'm more confused than ever now. I don't understand. So his father's name has George in it, but his doesn't have George anywhere in it. But Philip Arthur, Charles Philip Arthur. Philip Arthur and Arthur Philip? So his full name is William Arthur Philip, and Charles's is Philip Arthur, and he doesn't have George, and he does have George. He doesn't have Charles, and she has Windsor, but he doesn't have Windsor, but he has Windsor. How about Prince Harry? What is Prince Harry's full name? Okay. Henry Charles Albert David. Okay, so I guess if you're royalty, it doesn't make sense. I'm sure it makes sense in their system, but normally my name would be one or two or three given names. Luke, and then I have a middle name that I won't tell you. And then Pretty was my family name, and that comes from my father. And that name is often, when you're married, goes over to the wife as well. Husband and wife will have the same name. She will take his name usually. But in the case of royalty, I think it doesn't seem to work that way, because here you have, that's her son is Charles Philip Arthur George, and then his son, you would think they would have the same, but it's William Arthur Philip Louis Mountbatten Windsor, and then Henry Charles Albert David. Where does that come from? He doesn't have Albert Charles. He has Charles, but he doesn't have Charles. Henry, that's okay. So it doesn't make sense. Okay, so it's all just whatever they want to do, I guess. Whatever they want. They can do whatever they want because they're royalty. My wife's name is very cool, so she did not take my family name because her name is cool, so she just kept it. Think big, think ahead. Hello. Yes, it is very confusing. I am from an Arabic country. I don't know American culture. Please don't laugh at me. I want to learn from you. Why do you keep hurting me? I'm not trying to hurt you. I am laughing at you a little bit because the things you say make me laugh. But it's not I don't mean it in a sort of hurtful way. It's just like if somebody says things that make you go, what did they say? Like you mentioned that it's cold in Russia, but you know that I'm not Russian, right? I'm an American English teacher. I'm not from Russia. I've never been to Russia. So it's cold in Russia. Okay, so I don't know where that's coming from. And then I think we've just been talking about Charles, King Charles III, and we looked at a picture of him, and he, if there ever were a person who doesn't look like he's from India, it would be him, I think, probably, in my opinion, personally speaking. So it's just that there's a higher percentage of your comments make me go, what? than other people's. That's why I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. But keep it coming. But please don't troll. Did I miss any comments here for today? Do I have anything else planned? Let me check my document that I have. I have a document. We talked about that. Answered that article. We went to the app. We got to do Reddit English Learning. We got to do 1 or 2 of those. We have to do that. We must do that. We've just been talking about Charles, BB. That's why. We've just spent the last 30 minutes talking about Charles. It's been very boring. All right. Let's hop over to Reddit. I like to look at Reddit to pick out some questions. Why Queen Elizabeth II has died instead of passed away. It's both right. Put kerfuffle in a sentence. This business with the succession. This whole thing with the way that this whole thing with the way that the royal family gets names is just a big kerfuffle. It's a huge kerfuffle. A kerfuffle is just a big mess. It's a chaos. It's just like a bundle of there's another way to say kerfuffle, which I like, which is kind of I like it. Starts with cluster. Can you guess what it is? A real cluster. Do you know? All right. We're just going to look through these and see if we can find one that's cool. Sassy cheeky. How do you say salmon? I'm going to vote. It's this one. Everybody's voting that one. What's a word for confused speech, either bad pronunciation, tiredness, or different state of mind? Okay, don't know. Help with grammar, plus. Can deep be used to describe someone's tolerance in alcohol? No, I don't think so. Hello, Eric. Welcome. We're just looking through Reddit English Learning. I'm going to find a question that sticks out at me, and we'll talk about it. Let's see. What does the expression "an imposing physique" mean? We're just getting close to the end of a 2-hour English lesson, English live stream lesson. Thanks for joining. Good to have you here. I'm just looking for, do only I feel really good with myself when I manage to sing along to English songs? No, I don't feel good when I sing along. I feel ashamed. I feel shame. Walk across, along, over the bridge. What would you say to mean the length of the bridge and the width of the bridge? I'm not sure if those are the right words. Okay, have a good day. Thank you, sir. Oh, I'm having trouble finding an interesting one here. Closed folded arms. Fluent writing. I read somewhere that semicolons and colons can never be used interchangeably, but I feel in my sentence they can. Not only that, but I've also seen other such sentences. They could, I believe, be used interchangeably in one or two occasions. Oh, well, I'm just not seeing a question that's popping out at me as interesting. Oh, this one might be. Ah, yeah, this one I like. I'm not going to look at the answers yet because I like to kind of look at those after. Question from Reddit. Should I use a dictionary to learn new English words? Hello, everyone. I have been trying to learn new words. Who has said this? Where's the name? Okay, by Stupid Alex here. I have been trying to learn new English words by using online dictionaries for the last few days. I created an Excel file and I'm writing word meaning example sentences. I have written 100 verbs this way. This was very, very hard to do. Each word has many different meanings. Many of those words are synonyms. I don't think that all those meanings are really used in everyday life. So I don't think it is a good idea to learn new words this way, but my vocabulary is very poor. Now I am reading Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and I have only read about 1.5 chapters, and I have already added almost 100 new words and phrases. I'm trying to learn English without translating words into my native language. I could use a bilingual dictionary, but I don't want to. I love this. This is a struggle, right? So if you use the bilingual dictionary, then you get the word in your own language. So as soon as you see it, then you're triggering that word in your language, and so you're going to have to carry your language around with you whenever you want to use that new word. Okay, so that's a problem, right? What you want is to learn like babies learn, to learn words in English, the definitions in English. But the problem here is that Stupid Alex is trying to learn the entire cloud of the word because every word has synonyms or it has different meanings. Many words have 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, 15 different meanings. And so the result is going very slowly through Harry Potter. It's taking forever. It's not fun to read anymore. And how do I know which words are actually common, right? Here's my suggestion to you, Alex. Don't overburden yourself to the extent that suddenly the whole project becomes too heavy and too boring. You want to make sure that it's quick and easy. At the same time, what you're doing is really good. What you're doing is you're creating a file that's helping you track what you're learning. That's fantastic. My suggestion would be to only write down, when you're doing it this way, the words in the sense they are used in what you're reading, but have an option to add other senses later as you explore, right? So let's say you come across the word swell, okay? Pumpkins swelled to the size of garden sheds. And you want to see what that verb swell means. So you go into the dictionary and you see that it has different meanings and uses, and suddenly you feel, okay, I have to write all these down. Well, what you want is the simple physical definition, which means to grow larger. So you find that one in the freedictionary.com, dictionary.com, vocabulary.com. You find the one in its usage that is in Harry Potter and no others. And then you write down the example sentences for that only. That way you can quickly get back to the book and keep reading, because your progress is so slow, it feels like climbing Mount Everest. It feels like climbing the world's largest mountain, and you don't want to feel that way. What you want is to feel like you're able to move along and learn at the same time. So my suggestion is to stop burdening yourself with every meaning and every usage of that word or every synonym of that word. Stop that, okay? Just learn the one that you found, the one that matches the usage in the thing you're learning from, which is, in this case, Harry Potter, right? If there are 3 sentences, write down all 3, make your own examples. But in your Excel file, in your document, make sure you leave room for other uses, because you may come across another usage for the word swell later. You might see that swell is an old-fashioned term that means good, and that was kind of used in the 1950s, 60s, maybe 70s a little, and now isn't used as much. And you might see that in an old documentary, write that down and say, okay, that's good to know. But you don't need to do that now because that's not its usage in Harry Potter. So keep it contextual and keep it lean. Don't give yourself this massive project, right? But it is a good thing what you're doing to not translate, because then you're not carrying around your language with you every time you need to use that word in English to swell, to grow larger, right? And that's just an example, of course. So keep up the good work. Write down the example sentences. When you're doing it, keep to that definition and that usage that you discovered. Maybe write your own sentences, 1 or 2, and then move right along. And don't force yourself to learn every single word in the book that's new. If you skip 1 or 2, as long as you understand, it's fine. You want to balance your learning with your enjoyment of reading. If you dread picking up the book every time, I have to pick up this book and keep reading, you're going to give up very easily. You want to make it fun too. You want to still be able to enjoy it. So that's my recommendation, Stupid Alex. Good luck. I hope it goes well. Keep up the good work. Oscar, hello. Swell means very good, but it is outdated. It is very outdated. Yep. So I was just pulling out an example that I happen to remember from Harry Potter. I think a lot of words in dictionaries aren't commonly used. Do you think so? Do you really think that? Is that what you think? Is that your opinion? Where's my it's under the desk. I've got to get it with my feet. Hold on. Is that your opinion? Is that what you think? Maybe you're right. You might be right about that. You could be right that many, many words. Ooh, that's got that old book smell. That's nice. It's like drugs. I like it. Many words, I would say most words in dictionaries are not commonly used or known by everyone, in fact. Such as... oh, I gotta find one. Oh, this is getting heavy. I'm in the R's. Oh. Rutaceous. Rutaceous. Rue or row, I'm not sure. Rutaceous. Of or like rue. Maybe it's rutaceous. Belonging to the Rutaceae, a family of plants, including the rue, R-U-E, dittany, agnostura, bark tree, orange lemon, shaddock, kumquat. Rutaceous, not rotation, rutaceous, Rutaceous. There you go. That's a new one for me. You should see an Arabic dictionary. The one you have looks like a cute little thing. I'd love to see that. Send me a picture. I want to see that. An Arabic dictionary. It's like this big. All right. Luke, do you teach... See, this is what I'm talking about, BB. This is what I'm talking about. Luke, do you teach English? Because I don't get the topic today. It is so confusing. Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. I appreciate you all for joining, even BB. Thank you so much for the questions. If I didn't answer your questions, we'll be back here next Wednesday for another one, and then Friday. Wednesdays and Fridays around noon Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. GMT, I think, something like that. Have a great weekend, everyone. I hope you all enjoy yourselves. I hope you all have plans and cool stuff to do. Stay cool or stay warm, depending on where you are. And thanks a lot. See you guys. Bye-bye.